writing.
Everybody, it's Lee from the Geekshow podcast. Over here is the wall, and over here is my great colleague Rebecca Frost.
I was wondering where you were pointing.
The wrong way. Because spatial genius. All right, so have you been to a store lately?
A store?
Yeah, like a grocery store.
I just left at Target.
Was there Halloween stuff out yet?
I purposefully did not venture.
Lowe's has their Halloween stuff out.
Sure.
And Costco has their Halloween stuff out.
Oh, no.
And you know who else has their Halloween stuff out? Guillermo del Toro has his Halloween stuff out.
Shit.
So I'm excited about it. Like, he's my favorite director. He's my absolute favorite director of all time. But I think of him as like a fairy tale director who just goes scary. Whereas,
yeah, Crimson Peak is a total fairy tale.
Right. It's just like it's a gothic ghost story that just happens to have gross ghosts in it. And like some of his stuff gets pretty gross, but it's all fairy tales, right?
It's all fairy tales.
But fairy tales can be disturbing. Now, I wanted to talk to you about his latest trailer because I know you like scary stuff.
I love scary stuff.
What kind of scary stuff do you normally like?
I love a really good psychological horror.
Okay.
Ghost stories I do really enjoy. The Grief Was Calling from Inside the House. Those are fun.
What if I told you Guillermo del Toro was doing an anthology series?
Of all of those things?
Yes. You want to watch the trailer?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we're going to actually play it with the sound, which is something we don't normally do because sometimes the studio says, you shouldn't do that, Geek Show. That's our stuff. And then we say, but we want to because we want to help promote it. And besides, who knows about Guillermo del Toro, right? He needs promoting.
Maybe he's cool with it.
I think he would be cool with it because he's a cool guy.
We'll just send it up top.
We'll say,
if we
hey,
get in trouble, we'll send it up top.
Right. We'll be like Uncle Guillermo.
Uncle Guillermo.
We won't call him Daddy, though, because he might think that's creepy. So,
okay.
All right, let's play this trailer.
Cabinet of Curiosities is a show that I always wanted to make.
I think these are all his drawings.
We gave ownership of each episode to the directors.
Action.
Each of the episodes has a whole world. They present you with different delights. Some are savory, some are sweet. You get a surprise from each of the bites.
So, baby horror.
We wanted to create beautiful, practical creatures with all the artistry that goes into creating a great monster.
You like practical, right?
Yes, I do.
Of the most remarkable images in the series. With Cabinet of Curiosities, what I'm trying to say is, look, the world is beautiful and horrible at exactly the same time.
Woohoo! I'm surprised to see Catherine Hardwicke's in there.
Yeah, what has Catherine Hardwicke done?
So she did the first Twilight movie.
Okay.
She did 13.
Well, 13 was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lords of Dogtown.
That was also good.
Yeah, but Twilight is the big. She really set off the Twilight phenomenon.
Right.
Yeah, spooky. I hope there's practical effects in all of them.
And you also have Guillermo Navarro. Alfonso Cuarón, Guillermo del Toro, and Guillermo Navarro are like great buddies, and they hang out all the time, and they do stuff.
Okay, so what has that other Guillermo done?
Guillermo Navarro is mostly a cinematographer, so he was a cinematographer on Pan's Labyrinth and Pacific Rim and Kronos. And let's see if he's done any directing yet. Doesn't look like he's actually... Oh, he's got 16 credits as director. So, mostly TV. Something called Cocaine Godmother. He directed an episode of Luke Cage, did the Sleepy Hollow series, Narcos, and Hannibal. So probably really stylized stuff there.
Cocaine Godmother.
Right, that sounds like...
Oh, it was a Lifetime movie starring Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cool.
So, and she's, did you see the picture that came out from the Wednesday show today?
Yes.
Is that Catherine Zeta-Jones?
That is Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis
Awesome.
Guzman.
Well, that's great casting right there, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so Cabinet of Curiosities, I'm going to pull up the listing for the different directors and see, because, okay, so you've got Guillermo del Toro basically shepherding the whole thing and making sure that it has a certain style to it and probably putting up the money for it. But who are our directors?
He's the who am I thinking of?
Rod Serling from The Twilight Zone?
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that.
I was going to say, I've got the cast list pulled up.
Yeah, let's go through it.
Paddington himself, Ben Barnes.
Okay.
Andrew Lincoln of The Walking Dead. Rupert Grint, Crispin Glover, Sophia Boutella.
Peter
Weller. David Hewlett. F. Murray Abraham. Tim Blake Nelson. She's got a lot of really good people.
Good stuff. And let's see if I can grab the directors here. So Anna Lily Amirpour.
Kate McCucci's in here.
Kate McCucci. I don't know Kate McCucci, but I'm very old.
Garfunkel and Oates. She's not the blonde one.
She was the Gooch from Scrubs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to pull up the directors list and see what these guys have done. So Keith Thomas is on there. Director and producer of the new Firestarter and Disclosure. Not familiar with either.
The new Firestarter starring Zac Efron as a dad. We've reached the point in my life where my childhood actors are dads.
Oh, man. Anna Lily Amirpour. That's going to mess with me. She directed A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Panos Cosmatos directed Mandy.
We know how I feel about Mandy.
I know how I feel about Mandy. It's the best retelling of Faust ever done. So,
oh my god.
He also did Beyond the Black Rainbow. So if you like your Cthulhian stuff, Catherine Hardwicke, as you said, Twilight, 13, Lords of Dogtown. Jennifer Kent did The Nightingale and The Babadook.
Mm-hmm. The Grief Was Calling from Inside the House.
Okay, so you get some good stuff there. And let's see, Vincenzo Natali was the director of The Cube, In the Tall Grass, and Cypher, as well as Splice.
Oh my god, did you... he did In the Tall Grass and Splice?
Mm-hmm.
Splice was so fucked up. But In the Tall Grass... Have you seen In the Tall Grass?
I have not.
It's a fun one. I'm going to encourage some recreational drug use.
Okay. So like maybe some caffeine or
whatever freaks you out, baby.
Okay.
But In the Tall Grass, it's a Joe Hill story.
Oh. Okay.
So, and I don't particularly care for Joe Hill.
Yeah.
But this
Quiet Taste.
This movie was wild. I think it's on Netflix still.
I think Joe Hill's like Stephen King, like his dad in a lot of ways, and that if he's directed right, you get a great movie or a great story. But sometimes the stuff is kind of up to loose interpretation.
The story itself is weird. It's very timey-wimey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So David Pryor is the last director on our list, and he directed something called AM 1200 and The Empty Man, both movies that I have not heard of.
The Empty Man is a recent one. I haven't seen it. I heard it was okay.
Okay.
What's the other one? AM
1200.
AM 1200.
So what I love about this, like anthology horror is so good. Like we had, when I was a kid, there was a show called The Night Gallery, which was Rod Serling's sequel to Twilight Zone. And I remember just being terrified of that all the time. And then I know you probably saw Tales from the Crypt. You probably saw
I remember vividly watching it growing up, and my dad just let me.
Yeah. Well, then that's an area where you were brought up right. We had Tales from the Dark Side in the 80s, and all of these shows were just these great shows that, and a lot of times, like there's very well-established horror writers now that got their start writing for these anthology TV shows, and I think that's awesome. So seeing somebody with Guillermo del Toro, and a little known secret about horror is that it's not necessarily the most expensive thing to make, right?
No, if you do it right. You can make a really great horror movie with 0 props.
Exactly. And so he's doing practical makeup, which he's got his own creature lab for, and he's probably filming half of the stuff in his old Victorian house in LA anyway.
The thing I love about Guillermo del Toro is he is also just like, think this sums up, I think, who he is as a person, is his willingness to just be weird, because he shows up in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as a weird McPoyle uncle.
Oh no.
But you don't know it's him unless you like Google it. It's so cool. It's like under the radar. But I'm really looking forward to this because I really like horror anthology movies are really good. Like there's the VHS series, the most recent VHS that came out was
That's on Shudder, right? Is that on Shudder?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then you have like Trick or Treat, the ABCs. Is it the ABCs of Death?
ABCs of Death was so good and so creepy. And
there's another one that I really like to promote because it's called XX and it's all female written and directed horror shorts.
Cool.
I don't know where you can find it, but I really enjoyed it.
It's probably on Shudder.
yeah, they've got everything. Horror Shudder is one of those things. I forget. I paid for the year in advance, so I forget that I have it. But they're always putting out really good. Like, there's a Chris. Oh wait, what's the other one? There's a lot. There's a lot of really good anthology horror movies, and so I'm and something that they all kind of have in common sometimes is a connecting thread throughout all of the stories. Like there's one, I wish I could remember what it's called, but it's this guy and he's going around interviewing people who have had ghosts, like who have had paranormal experiences, but there is a thread that ties it all together at the end, and I wish I could remember what it was called, but maybe someday I'll remember.
There was one that came out when I was a kid. There's the guy who created the Dark Shadows television series. And Dark Shadows was so hokey. It was so cheap. But this director, producer, writer, he did a show called Trilogy of Terror. And the first story in it's called The Devil Doll. And it's this lady gets like this Zuni devil doll. And it chases her. And it's like 1973, 1974, real early. Still scares the crap out of me to this day if I see it. Because
you said it was Trilogy of Terror? It has popped up on this list of 25 best horror anthology movies.
There we go.
And it's
good stuff. That's that devil doll. Screw that guy. I hate him with a passion. So, okay.
The movie I'm thinking of is Ghost Stories. It's from 2017.
Okay, I have not seen that. So there's an ulterior motive for why I wanted to have this conversation with you is you know a lot of horror movies. So this is my homework. And I kind of want to come back and talk with you about some of these movies, especially as we get closer into the spooky season. But we also want to hear from you in the comments section if we missed any anthology movies or anthology series, or if we didn't miss them, but there's a particular episode or installment that you liked the most, let us know about it because we want to check them out because this is the season we want to get ready to get spooked.
And I'm always on the hunt for a horror thing I haven't seen. I mean, there's a lot that I haven't seen, but I want the good stuff. Okay. I need the good stuff that I haven't seen.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great one with Buster Poindexter from the New York Dolls. Where he plays a gangster that is trying to kill a cat, and the cat's from hell. And
cool.
I think it's in the Tales from the Dark Side movie.
As all cats are from hell.
Absolutely. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for sharing your horror movie wisdom. And
thanks for enlightening me.
No, this is awesome. I'm super excited. We're going to come back and talk about this anthology series as it hits. And again, it was Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities coming soon to Netflix. And thanks everybody for subscribing. Make sure to massage gently that like and subscribe button. Don't startle
smash it. Don't smash it.
Not without, just gently massage it because there's too many people smashing those like buttons.
They need a break.
Writing.